The following program is suitable for all audiences.
As Breeze sets up the screen, it's Cabela, and he will pick up a first down.
They've always featured their backs, just historically in that offense. And, Drew's real aware where the backs are all the time, whether they screen a lot or whether, it's in a check down. Or, he's a, very experienced quarterback, and guys do that. They don't try to force the ball. They take what the defense gives them. So they've had good production both in the run game. They're, I think, probably top 5 or 6 in the league in rushing, as well as in passing. So that balance makes them a tough offense.
Popped up in the air, intercepted. Eddie Jackson. Jackson is still going. Another defensive highlight. Touchdown Bears.
They're playing great defense. They've gotten the takeaways. They did a great job last week against Cam Newton, having studied that tape, and then the week prior, you can see and feel the momentum their defense is playing with, and Vic and his staff there have done a great job.
Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears on Tap, our weekly preview show where we devote most of the podcast to learning more about the Chicago Bears' upcoming opponent. This week, of course, it is the 4-2 New Orleans Saints. To open the show, we heard from head coach John Fox praising Drew Brees and that dangerous Saints offense, which has now become very balanced. And then Saints head coach Sean Payton, who, like everyone else in the NFL, is praising that Chicago Bears defense. Hey, I also want to welcome all of the Saints fans who are joining us to hear our guest, New Orleans football expert Emory Hunt, who is president of FootballGamePlan.com. More with him in just a minute. But first, my opening thought. This has been a big week for us here at BearsBarroom.com and our radio network. Our chief analyst, draft Dr. Phil Ottochian, a member of our signature show, Bears 100 Proof, that's on Wednesdays, and host of his own show on Monday nights, Bears Hour Live, he did something extraordinary. He wrote, he produced, and he performed a rap tune that's captured the essence of our Firefox campaign. It's not just that Phil went out of his way to create something out of nothing. It's that he produced something that is really, really good. People all across the globe are expressing their thoughts at how impressed they are with the lyrics, the singing, and just how catchy this tune is. You can hear the entire song at the end of the show. The lesson here is obvious, but it's always worth saying again. When you believe in something, when you're passionate about it, when you put in the effort, something wonderful is bound to happen. We're seeing that with this mighty Chicago Bears defense, and now we need to see it from the offense. The same kind of vigor Phil put into his tune, John Fox needs to put into his passing offense. What happened last week was embarrassing. Yes, the Bears won, but don't kid yourself. They didn't need to emasculate their young quarterback to win that football game. They could have won with a much more balanced approach to their offense. What John Fox did to Mitch Trubisky last week was a fireable offense. He didn't help develop Trubisky in that game, and he really didn't help the Bears win with that approach. Stick around. Phil expresses our displeasure with Fox in a much more eloquent and entertaining way. Let me bring in Emory Hunt. Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm doing fine, man. As always, I appreciate you having me on.
Emory, tell our audience a little bit about your background.
Former college athlete at Louisiana Lafayette, or University of Louisiana, running back in college. Started Football Game Plan back in 2007, 2009. We started adding video to that, and it has taken off since then. I'm also a color commentator. I do college football games every weekend, high school games on Friday, and I also do a fantasy football show Sunday morning on the Fantasy Sports Network. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades and a master of all trades, to put it that way, because, we cover everything from NFL all the way down to women's tackle football, high school football, CFL, the whole gambit. So if it involves the pigskin, we pretty much got it covered.
Emory, tell me about the Saints team. Does their present won and loss record, is that an accurate indication of the type of team the Chicago Bears will be facing on Sunday?
I believe so. And what's interesting is that we've seen this Saints team start to realize an identity. Earlier in the season, it was still what we saw the last 4 or 5 seasons from Sean Payton: pass first, pass second, maybe run third, but still get out there and throw the football. But now he's starting to realize what got him the Super Bowl victory in 2009: run the football, play good complementary offense, allow Drew Brees to operate off play action, and had that defense really get rested, get adjustments on the sideline, and get out there and be aggressive. So now you're seeing a complete Saints team, one that a lot of Saints fans haven't seen for quite some time.
Then Drew Brees was recently asked about the tandem at running back and their versatility. This is what he said.
You asked me which running back's going to be in goal line. I don't know. It could be either one. You know, who's going to be in third down? I don't know. It could be either one. Base offense could be either one. They're both so versatile in what they can do, and it's a good thing to have.
Have you noticed that makes a difference with defensive approach?
For sure, yeah. Because there's defenses that key in on your running backs, and that will determine, the coverages they play, the fronts they play, the type of defensive structure they play against you, just solely based upon who the running back is. So when you're able to mix and match the backs and do it in a way where you're very comfortable asking them to do, you're basically just opening up the playbook to them and saying, no matter what we're running, we feel comfortable with that guy in the game. That's a good thing.
Those are big words by Drew Brees about his running back tandem. Why don't you give us a quick profile on who these two guys are?
Well, the good thing about Mark Ingram is he's a guy that can be out there all 3 downs. He has the footwork, the vision, and a quick burst to really rip off yards in chunks. And that's what makes him, in my opinion, the complete back. And he also has good receiving skills out of the backfield. Alvin Kamara is more of a receiver than a running back, in my opinion. He can run the football, but he's not the runner that Ingram is. He's more of a guy that you utilize in a matchup situation as far as how let's say, for instance, to use a throwback reference, you look at how the Chargers and Bills utilize Ronnie Harmon. That's what Alvin Kamara brings to the table. He's more of your, I would say, weapon as opposed to true running back. But both guys combined makes a hell of a 1-2 combo.
Is it safe to compare Kamara to Tariq Cohen?
No, Tariq Cohen is more of a running back as opposed to he's a running back that also has good receiving skills. Kamara, to me, is not the runner that people are making him out to be, which is why during the draft I thought the Saints reached a little bit to trade up to get him when there was a guy in their own state at the University of Louisiana in Elijah McGuire that's a better runner that the Jets were able to get in round 5. So you didn't have to trade up to get a guy like Kamara when a guy like McGuire gives you more value and better running skills. It's just that Kamara is on a team where they're going to utilize his receiving skills as opposed to McGuire, where he's going to be behind probably sometimes Bilal Powell or even Matt Forte. So I wasn't sold on Kamara as the running back, but Tariq Cohen to me is the legit game breaker. And I'm glad if I'm coaching against the Bears, I'm glad they don't play Tariq Cohen consistently in the backfield, because that's the guy that's Barry Sanders-like and what he brings from a game-breaking standpoint.
Now, one of the interesting things about the Saints is we all know that Drew Brees is going to be in the Hall of Fame, but he's probably not going to be joined there by any of the New Orleans Saints wide receivers that he's played with. Give me a profile on who is playing wide receiver now for the Saints and who's particularly playing well.
The good part about New Orleans' offense is that, the open guy gets the ball. It's not necessarily, hey, we have to feature this or feature that guy. It's whoever's open is going to get it. And so right now you have Michael Thomas doing what he's supposed to do. You have Ted Ginn actually playing his role well. And you also have underrated guys like Tommy Lee Lewis, Brandon Coleman doing good things within his offense. And it's just about making yourself open. And when you have that situation going on with the passing offense, it allows the allows your receivers to work extra hard to be that guy to get open first. So all guys are doing well, which is why you're seeing the passing game take off.
Now, tell me a little bit about Brees. Now that he's 38 years old, approaching 39, I think in February, has he lost anything that you've noticed?
I think for Breeze, he's always played the same way. For him, it's about not asking him to do too much, because when you make it about Drew Brees, that's when the interceptions start to come. And you saw that creep itself into play early in that game against Green Bay, and then Sean Payton slowly got back to what helped him build this winning streak that they're on. Hey, let's run the football, let's get back to basics, and then we can feature Drew Brees that way, have him utilized as a complement. So he's still been the same guy. He's always been an aggressive passer, but if you're trying to win games, you got to be calculated in when you want to turn up the aggressiveness, and right now they're doing a good job of keeping that stabilized.
What's the state of his offensive line and how they've been playing?
They've been playing well, and here's the thing with any offensive line. If offensive linemen want to go forward, it's easier and more natural for them to go forward as opposed to be going backwards in pass protection. So the more times they go forward, the less you have to worry about them being exposed in pass pro. So they're getting good play from the offensive line because the running game is working. And when they do throw the football, Breeze has time. So I think it's a common theme that you hear coaches say, we have to run the ball, we have to establish a run. And it's not just because you want to run the ball and chew up the clock, but it helps your offensive line in the pass pro department as a result.
Now, over at tight end, Colby Flanier was brought in from the Colts, a couple of years ago now. How is he playing? And give me an indication on the tight end group for the Saints. I'm not going to try to pronounce the kid's name from Illinois. I'll let you do that.
Now, the tight end group is unique. It's just like the receiver group in New Orleans. And right now you have guys that are finding themselves open. So it doesn't matter if it's the H-back, if it's the tight end, if it's the flex tight end. And, whoever's going to be that guy and be open and consistently catch the football, that's what you want to that's who you want to throw the ball to, sir. They're getting the same level of play from their tight ends as they are their wide receivers, which is why the Saints are so difficult to defend.
Okay, now, so you're not going to tell me Michael Humano. You pronounce it, Michael. Say again?
Ho Mano Anui.
Oh, okay, that's nice. I got to give that to Phil because he could probably use that for one of his rap lyrics. All right, I want to turn our attention now to the defense. Before I do that, Sheldon Rankins, the defensive tackle of the Saints, was asked about why this defense is playing so much better than they were in their first two games of the season, where they really had a hard time out there. This is what Sheldon Rankins said.
It's confidence. The more you do something, the more you feel like you can go out there and continue to do it. Obviously, those first two games are what they were. They're out there for people to see, but we knew that wasn't us. So, just these last, four wins, we just came back and harped on the little things and been able to go out there and play confidently, play freely, make a lot of plays.
Emory, what are those little things that Sheldon is referring to? And just give me your take on why this defense now has been playing so much better the last four games as opposed to those first two games.
They're being much more gap and assignment sound. That's the key for any defense. If you do your job and own your responsibility, everything else will take place. And once that happens, then you start to see a person's individual talent show. And so if you're playing with good technique, good fundamentals, and you're staying true to what the defense calls you to do, then your talent will be able to take place and showcase itself. And that's what's happening with the Saints defense. So now you're seeing them be able to stop the run, get after the quarterback, and on the back end, guys are in position now to showcase their ball skills to make interceptions.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I did something wrong here. I'm getting an echo. Testing. Okay, there you go. Talk to me about this defensive line. Are they a team that brings a heavy pass rush? Any standouts on the line that we should be concerned about here in Chicago?
Cameron Jordan is one of the more underrated defensive ends in the NFL. And this is a guy he could be a power rusher. He's great versus the run. He shows a little bit of ability to turn that corner and accelerate to the quarterback. So Cameron Jordan is a premier pass rusher on that Saints defense, but you also have to like guys on the inside and get that interior pressure like Tyler Davidson, Sheldon Rankins. Those guys as well are good getting pressure, and they do a good job of playing the run on the way to the quarterback, which is why this defense is so tough, or have been so tough since week 2.
Over at the linebacker position, who are the standouts? Who's playing really well?
You know what? That's a great question because the Saints normally have standout guys. They lost Alex Anzalone, the rookie, out of Florida, but he was off injured there, and they're just getting good quality play from a bunch of guys. Manti Te'o is playing well in spot duty. So because of this, I think because of what you're seeing up front, it's allowing their linebackers to have success.
And over in the defensive back position, I guess we have to start talking about Marshawn Lattimore, who is just really he has to be considered as Defensive Rookie of the Year, given his play over the first 7-8 games now. Wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah. I mean, what we're seeing him do now is exactly what we saw him do at Ohio State. It's about finding the football. And if you can turn the ball over, if you're a defensive back that can really catch, I want you on my team. And that's the type of guy that helps out an offense because he gives them short fields to work with. And so what you're seeing now is the instincts, the ball skills, the game-breaking ability, and the reason why the Saints went ahead and drafted him in the first round.
Now, who's playing opposite him in the starting lineup at corner?
Well, it depends, but for the most part, you're going to see P.J. Williams, who's fought through injuries his first couple of seasons in the NFL. Now he's out there and playing like he played at Florida State, and he was a third-round pick. At the time, I thought the Saints had a steal or got a steal with him in the draft, but he was injured the first 2 years. Now he's out there healthy, and it gives the Saints a potent 1-2 combo. And in the slots, you have a guy like Ken Crawley who's doing great things as well. And they still are waiting for Delvin Breaux to come back from injury, who has been oft injured. But so they're good at corner. They're good at safety. And they've just been playing together as a group, man. It's been really good to see guys on the back end communicate and make plays.
You've got a couple of safeties on the roster that we're familiar with here in the NFC North. Chris Banjo, who played with the Packers, excellent special teams player, and Rafael Bush, who was with the Detroit Lions. So I'm familiar with both of those guys. Any one of those guys starting?
No, I think you look at Kenny Vaccaro as a starter. Von Bell is another one that is out there starting as well. So those are your starters, but the Saints do rotate a bunch of guys. It also depends on the personnel. Right now, the Bears personnel, I don't think dictates the Saints playing a bunch of safeties. So you may see your traditional look out there against this Bears offense. They may trust their personnel against the Bears receiving personnel. So we'll see. But guys like Rafael Bush has been with the Saints before, so he's very familiar with what they do defensively.
Now, this team has been fairly stout against the run, although last week against the Packers, they did give up over 100 yards to a rookie running back. How would you characterize this run defense, which, of course, for the Bears is very important because the Bears are predominantly a run team?
Yeah, it's going to be important for the Saints to stop the run, and that's why I said earlier, if the Bears are smart, the guy to play against the Saints defense from the backfield would be Tariq Cohen. Because a guy like Jordan Howard is easy to stop for a defense because you could just beat him to the spot and bring him to the ground. A guy like Cohen tends to take advantage of over-aggressive defenses, and that's what the Saints bring to the table, which is why they're good against the run, and which is why you saw a team like Green Bay take advantage and run a lot of influence plays, traps, to really get to take advantage of that over-aggressiveness, and Aaron Jones was able to rip off those long runs. I don't see Jordan Howard being that guy, but I definitely see a guy like Tariq Cohen doing a ton of damage to the Saints defense if given the opportunity.
Now, is the Saints defense, is this a good tackling unit?
Yeah, you see, it's a great team defense. Guys are flying around the football. You don't see one guy just basically making stops. You see good team defense, 3 to 4 guys following the ball carrier and being there. So they do a good job, and that's the mark of a good defense that's playing well. You see it with the Chicago Bears defense. When one guy makes a play, the next guy on his team on that same side wants to make a play. And when you have guys having that same hunger, it makes your defense better as a whole, which is why you see the Bears defense just get out there and everyone is playing fast. Everyone is playing, aggressive. That it looks like they're having a lot of fun. And you're seeing the same things with the Saints defense.
Very good. Now, on special teams, any standout players or any weaknesses on this Saints team that we folks here in Chicago should know about?
Nothing of note. I mean, I guess you could count Ted Ginn as a special teams guy, maybe Tommy Lee Lewis. I just think that special teamers, as far as returners are concerned, are a dime a dozen guys, unless there's someone that's a legit game breaker like a Devin Hester or like when the Saints had a Michael Lewis, those guys. But right now, it's par for the course for special teams are concerned.
And second-year kicker Will Lutz, he's doing well. He's a reliable field goal kicker because some people think this could be a close game, and a guy like Lutz could be needed to kick a late game field goal.
Well, that's the thing. You never know unless you're put in that situation. So when with kickers, they're game to game. So if he's mentally into it, he's making his kicks, and we'll see Sunday if he's mentally in tune to the game. But that's why, unless you have someone that's just simply automatic, you just really you hope your kicker is having a good day.
I hear you. Hey, over here at the Bears Bar Room, we started a campaign called #FireFox. We're not at all happy with the performance of John Fox at the head coach position. We would love for him to leave maybe mid-season, maybe after the season. But whatever the case, I know that Sean Payton still has a long-term contract there with New Orleans, but there was talk about him potentially being traded last season. There were some rumors going around the league. What is his situation now in New Orleans, and do you foresee there potentially being a move by Sean Payton to coach another team?
I honestly think Sean Payton loves being in New Orleans. And this is a personal opinion. I think he loves being there. I also believe that he embraces the ability to be a legend, so to speak. You don't see that often nowadays in the coaching ranks where guys stay in one place and really carve out a name for themselves. He won the Saints a Super Bowl, so he's going to never pay for a drink in that town, so to speak. And he's had the Saints competitive, even though they're 4 straight years of 7-9 or 3 straight years 7-9, something crazy like that. Fans are willing to overlook that because of what he did in 2009 and also from 2006 to 2009. The Saints have been competitive. You feel as though the Saints are in every game. You feel as though every year they have a chance to at least get into the playoffs. And I think Sean Payton understands that, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So it says something for a coach. It's something to be said for a coach that understands, this is where I need to be. Like you see it at the college ranks sometimes with a guy like Doc Holliday at Marshall, or maybe Bobby Bowden was at Florida State. You see that sometimes where guys are comfortable in their own spot, and that's where they ought to be. And when they go other places, it's not the same. We saw that with Spurrier going from Florida to South Carolina. It just wasn't the same. And so I think Payton is going to stay in New Orleans until he retires.
Now, what about the coordinators, Pete Carmichael, Dennis Allen, or anyone else on the staff? Do you foresee anybody with head coaching potential?
Carmichael may be the next in line, but with Allen, he's had that opportunity before, and we saw him fail miserably at that. So some guys are just better as coordinators as opposed to being a head coach. And I think some guys love the comfort of just being in charge of one thing and not in charge of everything. But if I had to make a choice, I would say Carmichael would be the next in line.
Emory, you think the Bears have a shot of pulling an upset down in New Orleans?
Always have a shot, man. Here's what I would say the Bears' opportunity lies. One, they have great defense, an aggressive defense that turns the ball over. That gives you a chance. Number two, they have the dynamic playmaker, the Barry Sanders on their team, into Rick Cohen that can really go 80 on any given play. So you're always going to be in the game when you have a guy that's a threat to score a touchdown in every situation. And also you just have the unknown factor of the rookie quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky. So it's up to John Fox to allow him to throw the ball. It's a shame to see how he treated Trubisky last week, just like how he treated Tim Tebow in Denver. You made sure you didn't allow this man to throw the football in the first half, but when you're down the ball game and you need him to throw, he's out there making clutch throws, and you win the game, and you get into the playoffs and you win that playoff game. I think you're seeing the same things here in Chicago. It's tough because you drafted this guy second overall. Allow him to fail or allow him to improve. Don't handcuff him and try to run the ball with Jordan Howard plowing to the back of the line for 45 times a game, especially when you have a guy that you can really give those 45 carries to, and you may get 6 or 7 touchdowns out the deal into Rick Cohen. So I understand why you guys are calling for John Fox's job, but the Saints, I I think the Bears have a really good chance against New Orleans. This is going to be a good game.
One more question. I'll let you get out of here. It's based on what you just said. Do you think that it's emasculating for a player like a Mitch Trubisky to be ordered to play that style of football? I mean, this guy is a self-professed gunslinger. He's got a lot of confidence in himself. He throws a super accurate ball. And do you think that when the coaches sit down and map out this game plan, that he looks at that and he says, what the hell is going on?
Absolutely. I mean, you see stuff like this going on across the league. You see it in Cleveland. Imagine being a quarterback in Deshaun Kaiser, where if you throw an interception, you got to look to the sideline and say, man, am I about to come out? Am I allowed to make mistakes and improve on those mistakes? Or am I now getting brain locked because I don't want to make this throw, because what if the coach doesn't like that throw and I get pulled out the game? So with Trubisky, he has to look at it as though, why draft me number 2 if you're not going to allow me to throw the football? You could have kept Mike Glennon in the game for all that. So I just, players want to play, and players have confidence. And when you don't allow your quarterback to throw more than 7 passes, to him, that tells him subconsciously, he's probably thinking mentally, man, do the coaches think I'm trash, or do they think I'm terrible? It's just weird. It's a weird dynamic to put on a guy that's, that handles the ball every play. You want that guy to have the utmost confidence from the staff. And right now you see it in Chicago. You're seeing it in Cleveland. They don't have that. But you saw in Philadelphia, they allowed Carson Wentz to make those mistakes. They allowed Jared Goff in Los Angeles to make those mistakes, and they're much better for it the following season. So they have to let this kid throw the football to at least see what you have, but also allow him to gain some confidence, learn some things, and be a better quarterback moving forward.
Emory, you're one of the busiest guys in the business, and so I really appreciate you taking time to talk with us. Tell our followers how they can follow you on Twitter.
They can follow me on Twitter at FBallGamePlan, and always subscribe to Football Game Plan's network, which is located on youtube.com/footballgameplan, and always visit our website at footballgameplan.com.
Thank you very much, Emory Hunt. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Okay, take care. Okay, huge game for the Bears on Sunday. A win on the road against the Saints is a tough task, but it is possible. Take a listen to what Hall of Fame football executive Bill Polian said on ESPN this week.
New Orleans Saints started 0-2. They've put together 4 straight wins. Now they're at home taking on Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears.
Well, this is a tough place for the Bears to play.
Correct.
It's a tough place for Mitchell Trubisky to play. But Vic Fangio and John Fox and that defense is playing great for the Bears. Upset. Bears.
Well, you're going with the Bears on the
Bears.
road. Okay.
Even some people in the national media are starting to notice something about the Bears. Unfortunately, most are still clueless about the criminal-type coaching methods of John Fox. Make sure you stop by the website to see my tongue-in-cheek article about how John Fox is murdering the forward pass. You'll also find Kevin Schroeder's Bears player performance grades, Alec Lifshult's article on why it's time for the Bears to start featuring those tight ends, and you'll also find all of our podcasts listed there. But the best way to stay in touch with all of our podcasts is just to go over to podbean.com or iTunes and type in the search bar Bears Barroom Radio Network. Will pop up, and go ahead and subscribe. Now I want to close the show with the rap tune produced by Phil Ottochian that I spoke about at the beginning of the show. And I ask you to share this music with your friends and throughout social media. The version I will play for you now has been edited to remove a word or two not suitable for all ages. If you want to hear the uncensored version, stop by bearsbarroom.com. You'll find a post there entitled Firefox Rap Song Gaining Traction. Enjoy the game Sunday, and remember, if you drink, please do not drive, and always bear down.
Yo, MC Fulfill, bringing it back for the Bears Barroom, and the bar flies. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears Barroom, sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears Barroom, sending a message to the fandom. mumbling, grumbling, stammering, fumbling, stumbling. Coach John Fox, another presser fan, humbling. Over and over and arrogant, coach does it again. A typical line to cover a team with no plan. Hopes are dashed with another lost season. Was it pace who hired Fox or was it ownership's reasons? Questions fill up and no straight answers ever given. When it comes to state of the Bears, in the 80s still living. Who the Mike Glennon? The barroom kept asking. An open competition, giraffe gap never happens. Laughing all the way to the bank. Kept putting Glennon on the field to start, but he stank. Coaching negligence with more drops than Josh Bellamy. Fans so used to losing, cost of tickets is the felony. Timeouts used only to get delayed penalties. Another great week of practice will be the remedy. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears bar room sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears bar room sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears bar room sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears bar room sending a message to the fandom. John Fox confused, the close call forgets the challenge. 2017 virtual snaps at Alice. Glennon's still a captain, opposing teams laughing. You laughed at Buff fumble, then the knee pass happened. Conservative approach, finally playing the gunslinger. Keep him cuffed, young buck, Fox stupidity lingers. First win on the road in over 2 seasons. Almost gave the game away if Howard doesn't truck Ravens. Day to day, of course, a frequent line he likes to throw. 10 minutes later, the player is done per Rapaport. Coach Fox, arrogant, he needs a passing lesson. This is the coach you hired. In 3 years, he's worse than Trestman. Testing, 1, 2, a joke on Espin. Fire John Fox would beat the Bears' best win. Down the field turf, stop adding up slip counts. Get Fox to pick, slip to the curb, we kick out. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears ballroom sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears ballroom sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears ballroom sending a message to the fandom. Fire John Fox, not a plan but an anthem. Bears ballroom sending a message to the fandom. Yeah. Fire John Fox. Fire John Fox. Fire John Fox. Fire Bears, fire boom, fire Fox, 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 fire John Fox, yeah. Fire John Fox. Just fire that dude. Get rid of him. Shout out to my boy Shane, smartest man in the bar room. Draft Dr. Phil. And who could forget the Godfather, Aldo Gandia, the barkeep, worldwide. Hashtag that up, worldwide. Make it happen. Barflies unite.